Hello, dear friends. Today we're gonna talk about Chapter 12, Political Secularism. The terms secularism are related concepts are often used in discussions about religion and politics, but their meanings are not always clearly defined. These terms are typically understood in relation to religion, either as absence of religion, sometimes distinct from religion, or the decline of religion's influence. However, secularism is more than just the negation of religion, it's an ideology with its own beliefs and political agendas. This section will explore the various ways in which secularism has been defined and its complex relationship with religion. Let's move on. Absolute separationism. This philosophy demands that the government remain entirely separate from religion, neither supporting nor interfering with it in a way. It allows for the free exercise of religion in the private sphere and public discourse, but requires that public policy be decided on strictly secular basis. Laicism goes further, restricting presence of religion in the public sphere. It advocates for a completely secular public space with equal restrictions placed on all religions, including the majority religion. Neutralism. Neutralist political secularism requires the government to treat all religions equally without favoring or discriminating against any. This can be interpreted as neutrality in intent or neutrality in outcome. Semi-neutrality and the minimalist approach. Semi-neutrality, this approach is ostensibly neutral, but in practice privileges certain religions such as the Judeo-Christian tradition and particularly newer or minority religions. Minimalist approach. The minimalist approach asks what is the minimum level of separation between religion and state necessary for democracy to function. It allows for more government support of religion as long as it does not restrict the free exercise of religion or violate democratic principles. Then comes critics of political secularism. Preferring no religion is discrimination. Some argue that to prefer no religion is in effect to give preference to secularism over religion, which is a form of discrimination against religion in general. They contended that true neutrality is impossible, as favoring a secular society inherently disadvantaged religion. Critics argue that when secular doctrines are applied aggressively, they can become hostile to religion and even totalitarian, violating the very religious freedoms they claim to protect. Balancing rights and freedoms. Laws and policies aimed at protecting the rights of one group, such as LGBTQ+ individuals, can be seen as violating the religious freedoms of others, creating a tension between competing rights and freedoms. The complexity of secularism. Defining secularism. Secularism is often defined in relation to religion, but it's more than just the absence or decline of religion. It's an ideology with its own beliefs and political agendas that must be examined in its own context. Rights of political secularism. There are several distinct types of political secularism, each with its own approach to the relationship between religion and state, ranging from absolute separation to various forms of neutrality and accommodation. Secularism is not without its critics, who argue that it can be discriminatory, totalitarian, or fail to properly balance competing rights and freedoms. The relationship between secularism and religion is complex and nuanced. In many non-Western contexts, secularism is understood as public support for all religions rather than the strict separation of religion and state found in the West. In India and other parts of the non-West, the concept of cultural expression without religion is often unthinkable, leading to a more inclusive interpretation of secularism. Non-Western understanding of secularism must account for the deep integration of religion and culture in many societies rather than imposing a Western models of restriction of strict separation. The evolving of nature of secularism. The meaning of and application of secularism has evolved over time, shaped by the historical and cultural context in which it has been implemented. Secularism is understood and practiced differently across various regions and political systems, reflecting the complex and multifaceted nature of concept. The relationship between secularism and religion continues to be a subject of intense debate as societies grapple with balancing competing rights, freedoms, and ideologies. So here our journey to this chapter 12 comes to an end. Thank you for your attention.